Hello and welcome to Enterprise Morning on Enterprise Television. I am Kende Bodun.
And I am Henry Igwebiki.
All right, it's the season to be jolly, and we hope you are enjoying the warmth, joy, and togetherness that come with the Christmas holidays. We are delighted to have you join us today. And you know how we do it now. On the program, we'll begin with a review of the day's newspaper, and shortly after that we will dive into the main conversation shaping public discourse today. You won't want to miss a moment, trust us. Do join the conversation by liking and following us across all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. So today, joining us to unpack the matters at hand is Emeka Madunago. He is a journalist and a public affairs analyst. You're always welcome, sir.
Good morning, Emeka.
Good morning. Good morning. Compliments of the season.
We wish you the same.
Thank you so very much for your time
Yeah.
now and always. So let's start with the Punch newspaper for today.
Okay.
Big story: budget crisis. National Assembly extends the 2025 fiscal year to March. And right after that story, Senate reps passed a revised 91.8 trillion naira 2024-2025 budget 2026 appropriation bill passes second reading.
Okay, on the top strip there we have 2027 Turaki camp films as INEC rejects PDP excos.
And equally, Ekiti domesticates the Nigeria Tax Administration Act.
We also have NBA article demand new tax law suspension.
A very funny one, actually, very ridiculous at the same time. Federal government orders takedown of terrorists' social media accounts. Rather than going after the terrorists themselves,
they have to take down
asking that the accounts be closed down, like they won't go recreate another one.
Do you understand?
Very, very funny. What it is. But Emeka, let's start with the National Assembly extending 2025 fiscal year to March. What does it actually mean, and what are they saying here?
Yeah, what it just means in a nutshell is that they are trying to remedy certain defects and possibly over assumptions in the 2024-2025 budgets. Of course, you know there were grandiose assumptions, but for instance, 2025 budget, the releases have been so, releases for capital budget, for the capital budget have been so poor, not more than 30%. So of course, they just rolled it into Tinubu, President Bola Tinubu directed the MDAs to roll their 2025, the remaining 70%, because as of December, only 30% had been taken care of. So to roll 70% into next year's budget, so they now consolidated it, 2024, 2025, and then now passed a portion of it. Why? Because of ongoing projects, ongoing projects, so that they can take care of ongoing projects. Because, President Tinubu just, I think he delivered the 2026 budget to the National Assembly on December 17. It will now be passed, it will now be sent to committees, and all of that. So in order for ongoing projects not to be stalled, they now had to roll the 2025 budget to March. But the problem is, this administration has now developed a bad habit of, multiple budget cycles. You just keep rolling one budget into another, and the budgets have become just a joke. I know generally in Nigeria, for decades, our budgets have never gone beyond 30% performance, but now bringing up multiple budget cycles worsens the situation, and it's not helpful for Nigeria. Thank you.
Go to another story still on the Punch newspaper. So we're going to be taking 2027 Turaki camp films as INEC rejects PDP exco. So Mr. Emeka, please can you just tell us more about this?
What do you think here?
Seriously,
do we see an eventual collapse, total collapse of the PDP with the complicity of INEC, if I might use that word?
There's no complicity anywhere. There's no total collapse.
Are you still there?
It's just the fact that both sides, Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Yes, you can continue your thoughts. Okay, I think we're having a bit of a challenge hearing Emeka on that particular one, and he was speaking to the Turaki INEC, because I talked about complicity at this point, because the Turaki-led PDP seems to be the one widely accepted by everyone, and those who equally participated in it. And the question I talk about complicity is that, is it because, according to Makinde, who said that while they were having a meeting with Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that Yeltsin Wike said that he was donating PDP to Tinubu. That was in 2023. Before 2023.
Yes.
That he was donating PDP to Tinubu, right? And because of that, I would love to believe the need to see PDP not exist is not there. Because if the Turaki-led NWC is accepted by INEC, then it means that PDP still exists. Emeka, are you still there?
I don't know what happened, though. I don't know what happened. The
All right,
line
okay.
just the
All right, we can hear you now.
So what I'm saying is that there is no complicity. Sides are in court, and then remember, to Sule Lamido, I went to court to say he was excluded from, that he was not given a chairman, a form to run for chairman under the Makinde faction. So what INEC is saying is that with the pendency of the suits, he cannot recognize either side. He can't recognize the convention where Turaki's executive was produced, and he can't recognize the Wike-backed faction. Well, the point is that it's good they're in court, because INEC too should not overplay its hands. It was the same thing they tried with the SDP, but thankfully the Supreme Court has now told INEC to mind its business. And it's very clear. I think INEC is just trying to be clever by half. The Supreme Court had ruled that the issue of leadership of parties is an internal matter of the political parties. And then the NWC, the interim NWC, led by Umar Damago, has expired. Its tenure expired on December 8th. Today is December 24th. Will the party, if the party is an organic unit, are you saying that the party will be without a recognizable leadership? I mean, it's not possible. It's not possible. So I think INEC called a meeting and called the two sides. But the same INEC had observed and monitored the governorship primary in Osun State, held by the Makinde faction. It sent 5 officials there. So, and then it rejected a request by the former National Secretary, Sam Dadi Anyanwu, for, for recognition of its caretaker committee. So you are now saying that there won't be any, executive for now. Why? There should be a way to resolve these things, because we know the judiciary also has its own part, and then of course it's very clear, like what Makinde, the governor of Oyo State, said that the FTT minister Nyesom Wike was he is being used by Tinubu to destabilize the opposition parties. So when we look at it, I also have to suspect that the judiciary has a hand in all this crisis. But one thing we must realize is that if we thwart democracy, if democracy fails, all of us will suffer the consequences. It doesn't matter whether you're in judiciary, executive, or legislature. All of us will pay the price. Thank you.
This is actually quite disturbing, because we cannot operate democracy when opposition is not in existence. I do not know the card President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is playing, but I love to believe that the scale would one day fall off his eyes, so he understands the consequences of some of these things, and that what he is trying to bring all to himself might not be his at the end of the day if this continues, and if the opposition refuses to do what the opposition should
even
do.
Any card is played, even if he thinks that he can even make things done. We as Nigerians, we are urging, or we are imploring our president to at least make the cards, like he should play the cards well, that will benefit every one of us.
Definitely.
Right.
So let's move to the Daily Trust newspaper. We have less than 5 minutes to do that. And straight to the talking point, Emeka. Officers are missing as terrorists attack civil defense post in Niger. Now, this question equally tangles with another one here. Terrorists using POS machines for ransom collections, and equally ties to another issue again, which we had read in the Punch newspaper. Federal government orders takedown of terrorist social media accounts. Emeka, why are we moving in circles like we don't know what the issue is? We all keep moving in circles. The federal government is asking that the accounts of terrorists, now terrorists, before they used to be known as bandits, so they baptized them to terrorists now. So they ask for the closure of the accounts as if that would make them go back to their homes. And what's happening?
As funny it may sound, it's a serious issue.
But Emeka, what's your take on all of this moving in circles?
Let me tell you what's going on. The US is likely to begin. Is the US likely to start bombing those terrorists any moment from now? It has, it attacked their supply routes, from Benin Republic. The US has taken over the airspace between Nigeria and Benin Republic, the border, between Nigeria and Benin Republic. And it's, it has been flying, his aircraft have been flying all over Nigeria, monitoring, locations of these terrorists. And it's going to strike any moment from now. As at this morning, there was a video on Instagram where a terrorist was saying that the Nigerian government should not bomb them, that they are ready for peace, but you're still holding on to your weapons. He was saying it. He was speaking in English that they are ready for peace and all of that. So that's the pressure. Time is running out on the Tinubu administration to do anything. They are thought that maybe Donald Trump will drop the idea of bombing these guys, but he's going ahead with it. So talking about taking down their accounts, it's just laughable. Because even this morning, I've seen, these guys don't just operate on social media. Like ISWAP. Can I tell you that ISWAP has a radio station? They operate a radio station. ISWAP has newsletters in English, in Arabic, I think in about 4 or 5 languages that I distribute. So even if you take down their social media accounts, what about the newsletters that they're distributing? What about the radio station? What about the radio station they're using to reach out? What have you done about that? You went to great lengths to block Nnamdi Kanu's Radio Biafra. Why are you not going to great lengths to make sure that ISWAP cannot broadcast into Nigeria? So those are the contradictions in all these things. It's not about taking that. You don't even need to announce. That's one of the funny things these people do, just to show what they say, show working. You don't need to announce that you're taking down the accounts. Take down the bloody accounts. Take down the accounts, and then whatever else you need to take down, the terrorists themselves, take them down. Let's have a peace. But you have to wait for for the United States to now get ready, to move into action. Then you have to wait, till now to release Sunday Jackson, who was, wrongfully convicted, by a high court, federal high court in Adamawa, and the sentence was upheld by the Supreme Court, despite protestation, despite the fact that the ACJA, Administration of Criminal Justice Act, was severely violated in that matter. But as of yesterday night, the Adamawa State Governor Umar Fintiri granted Sunday Jackson a pardon, and he was released last night. I think his last child also, who was 8 or 12, because the matter has gone on for 15 years, who was 8 or I don't know, who was just maybe he didn't even know, he never even knew the child, because I think the wife was pregnant around the time the trial started. So all of these things, injustices that the judiciary lends itself to, is unfortunate. So taking down the accounts, that one is a waste of time. Donald Trump is going to teach them a lesson. This complicity in criminality by people in government has to stop. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, this brings us to this story. Well, I feel 2026 is going to be a year of, in fact, so many activities, good activities, right? So we have here on the Vanguard newspaper on the top strip, NIN CAC numbers to become tax IDs from 2026.
And
That's
coming from
FIRS.
Emeka,
Oh my
help us
God.
explain.
Please do well to share your thoughts on this.
These people are just being funny. These people are just being funny. The same FIRS gave me a tax ID some years ago. I don't remember, was it 2022 or so? They were just calling people to come. But I said, but our personal tax IDs are supposed to be given by state governments, not, because I pay my personal income tax, to Lagos State government. So why would you now be giving me a tax ID? But we were two of us that went that day, So I saw the second person the other day, and he said, he has been making use of the tax ID, that he hopes they've been remitting the money to the Lagos State government. I said, okay. But well, me, I've been paying my own through another means. So to say that the NIN, so why are you using the NIN now? NIN that has been severely compromised. Just try I think there's a code you can try on your phone to see how many phone numbers are connected to your NIN. So when you now decide to use it as tax ID, for how many people? Just so when you check it like that, is it not, how many people are you connected to? I think something like star 996 hash or so, that you can use to check how many numbers are linked to NIN. So when we begin from that, this thing has been compromised, and then you are telling people that you use it. Normally, look, this is the 21st century, for crying out loud. You can easily generate tax IDs for all Nigerians. It's as easy as ABC. All you need to do is just the Joint Tax Board, in conjunction with the CBN and banks. You have the database, you have the NIBSS, Nigerian Interbank Settlement System. You can just, with that, get the database of active accounts that have been active in the last maybe 3 months or so. And then you just issue automatic tax IDs to those. It will even pop up. If there are those who don't have tax IDs, it will automatically pop up. And then we'll be talking about consolidating the IDs. You have BVN, you have NIN, you have passport, you have a driver's license, you have voter card. Consolidate everything into just one card, so that it will be easy for, for tax revenue purposes, for education purposes, for security and all of that. But because jobs for the boys, people can't resist, people in office people in power cannot resist the law of corruption. So they have to insert those things, they have to keep those things running so that there can be jobs for the boys, so that they can, actually get spaces to put their people in those commissions. So it all boils down to our love for doing the wrong things. Thank you.
I still wonder what Bosu Tijani, the Minister of Communication, and what else again, from that long position he has. I do not know what he is doing at this point. He's very good at speaking good English, and all of this would have been, the example Emeka just gave now, would have been at his desk. He should understand those things better on how to generate tax IDs with the informations, the database that he has. But all he does is curate Gen Z type of programs that will gladden the ears and the eyes of Mr. Bola Tinubu, and they will clap for him and say he is a whiz-kid in tech and all. But of course, that's what we have. All of this will be contested, hopefully, and possibly we'll get better results. Emeka will still be here to take us on our main conversation when we return. Hardship. Federal government takes 52% revenue. Stop blaming governors. Radda of Katsina says. In the beat is still Enterprise Morning. We'll be right back.
Stay with us.
being back, and if you just joined us, this is still Enterprise Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television, penultimate day to Christmas.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is 25th, so it's going to be a very wonderful day.
Jolly.
We forgot our Christmas hat, actually.
Can you imagine?
Yes, in fact, we were hoping that it would be tomorrow, but we would have started the celebration today.
Me, I started my own since yesterday.
Oh, since yesterday.
Yes, so.
Well, without the hat, obviously.
No, it's obvious. They will
obvious.
watch it and they will know that we are in the season.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, so let's move straight to our main conversation, where we have it that the Katsina State Governor Dikko Radda had called on Nigerians to stop placing sole blame on state governors for the country's worsening economic hardship, noting that the federal government controls the largest share of national revenue. Radda, who chairs the Northwest Governors Forum, made the remark during an interview on Radio France Internationale, RFI, Hausa program.
Yes, very true. So according to the governor, public frustration is often directed at governors and local government chairmen, even though the federal government receives 52% of funds from the federation account. He explained that the remaining 48% is shared among the 36 state and 774 local governments, leaving subnational government with limited resources to meet growing demands.
All right, so let's get talking. We still have Emeka Madnabu. Emeka, let's speak to this issue. Radda had once said that he asked for 40 doctors to come work for him in the federal hospital, state hospital, I guess. That only 11 showed up, and he was blaming Nigerian doctors for not being patriotic to Nigeria. And lots of people were asking him, how patriotic is he, Governor Radda, to Nigeria? Why won't he train his own child to be a doctor in his own hospital? The same governor is saying that we should not blame governors, we should blame President Bola Tinubu, who already is having so much on his head. Emeka, do you think we should blame Bola Tinubu and not our respective governors at this point?
Okay, let me take it this way, one after the other. One, we are in a federation, and we should be practicing federalism, fiscal federalism, and federalism at different levels. But sadly, we have this centralized system, and which makes the federal government to have this overbearing influence. Yes, it's right. The federal government takes 52.6% of her monthly revenue. The federal government also takes 1%, for the FCT, and then the other things the federal government controls. So, this inequity is unacceptable. The federal government should actually tell us what it's doing with its 52.6%, because the states take 20%. So when you now, that's more than what all the states, 36 states, and the FCT are taking. What is the federal government doing with it? It doesn't need it. It doesn't need it. Recently, the National Assembly passed a central gaming bill, for the federal government to regulate lottery and all those things. But, clearly, President Tinubu said he would decline assent. He would not sign it because the Supreme Court had already issued, a landmark verdict some years ago on that same matter, the National Lottery Act. It invalidated it. So, and that it states, he said it states that should regulate lottery. There's so much money in lottery, So, now,
was he not doing that statement? Was he not saying that because of what Lagos State tends to gain? Because I would love to believe if Lagos wasn't having a lump share of that business, he wouldn't have said that.
Let me tell you something. If the governors are responsible, I know we have been clamoring for years for for a review of the Revenue Allocation Act. But the point is this. Like he said, to whom much is given, much is expected. What are you doing with the one you have got? The allocations you are getting. President Tinubu remove subsidy and then increase allocations to states and local governments. Yet the governors are not satisfied. What have you done with it? Yeah? Some local governments receive over 500 million every month. What have you done with it? Huh? Primary healthcare centers are supposed to be under the local governments. But the states, we dive into all these things. Primary schools are supposed to be under the local governments. But the states will tell you that in the constitution, that there is this section, I think 162, I think subsection 456, will tell you about the state local government joint account. So they will now use that to perpetrate illegality, seize local government funds, and then use those funds for other purposes. So local government funds have now become like an ATM for governors. This is criminality, and that's why President Tinubu had to threaten that he will issue an executive order to force governors to obey the Supreme Court judgment granting financial autonomy to the local government. But he has forgotten that President Buhari issued an executive order 10. What came out of it? Nothing. Nothing came out of it. So one thing he should realize, we ought to do, let's tell ourselves the truth. We've been clamoring for restructuring, but the North has been opposing restructuring. The time has come now for the North to tell itself the truth. Nigeria is not working the way it is presently constituted. There must be restructuring. States should get more allocation. States should get more responsibilities. Because let me tell you, poverty rises and falls on the quality of leadership. If you want to tackle poverty, you must start at the local government, and then the states. Because there's so much that Abuja can do, and it can't really achieve so much. It's not right for Abuja to determine where a primary school in your local government should be sited, in what town. It is very wrong. It is very wrong. Health centers and all those things. President Tinubu giving grants to states for healthcare center, primary healthcare centers. All those things are an aberration. States should be there should be devolution of powers. But before we get there, while we are still working on it, we need state police as well. Look at what it took, how much effort it took for states to agree to a state police. Look at the battle now. Allow local governments get their allocation directly. You don't agree. But we see that in Lagos, you reference, local governments are doing roads, they are building roads, they are building drainages. Local governments are doing projects. In his own state, Dikko Radda should tell us if he has granted financial autonomy to the state. I think he has. I think, if I remember well, I'm not very sure. But apart from that, what have you? I think Dikko Radda has also tried in terms of security, set up a vigilante and all of that, trying to secure Zamfara State, but he now said that some political actors at the federal level had been thwarting their efforts. Be that as it may, what we're saying is this: what the governors are getting, what are they doing with it? I know tarring roads, asphalt is very expensive, but even at that, engage direct labor. You don't have to give contracts, bloated contracts to your friends and cronies. You can engage youths in direct labor. Look at what the federal government is trying to do now through the Federal Ministry of Works. Internship for graduates of engineering that they should register, and they'll be posted to different project sites of the federal government for internship. Can't you do it as state government? Your youths are unemployed. Create different areas where they can go for internship and earn some good money, even if it is a minimum wage. But you're not doing that. You're not doing that. Yes, we'll blame the governors because of the conspicuous consumption they indulge in. Because of the corruption they indulge in. We will blame them because they are taking so many loans. This year alone, we know how much loans governors have taken. A particular state governor took over 1 trillion. Was it last year or year before last? And later he was lamenting that they took too much, that the state should have taken 500 billion instead of 1 trillion. What are you doing with the money? What exactly are you doing with the money? You take the money, you take the loan in dollars, you convert it to naira, and then you steal part of it, and you engage in conspicuous consumption. And then Nigerians think, oh, there's so much money in the system. Oh, and Nigerians will say, oh, there's money in Nigeria. Okay, when they now expect, okay, bring out the money now, you'll be telling stories. Whereas they don't know that it's borrowed money. They're just flaunting about. Look at the federal government. Made a projection of 43 trillion revenue for this year. But according to the Minister of Finance, government was only able to make 10 trillion naira revenue, leaving a shortfall of over 30 trillion. But look at the conspicuous consumption. Was it within the same year that Tinubu bought a presidential jet? Was it the same year they were engaging in all kinds of jamborees, going for COP conference, with one of the largest delegations and all of that, all on borrowed money. Nigeria is living on borrowed money. Let's just tell ourselves the truth. We can continue to deceive ourselves. We are living on borrowed money. So the governor Dikko Radda should tell his colleagues, let's be responsible. Whatever we are getting, no matter how small, let us be responsible. To whom much is given, much is expected. Let us even try. Let the people see that we are making efforts to make their lives better. Then they can now support us when we say we need more money. Because this year alone, the governors have received so much. Now the new tax laws, whenever they come on stream, the governors are going to receive much more money. What are they going to do with the money? You can just see them stealing money up and down. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. That is what, so let them show us what they are doing with what they have received. Let them publish their audited accounts. All the governors, since 2023, let them publish their audited accounts. And then we will now get from there. But according to budget, a transparency watchdog, that looks into budget, it says that, look, only Anambra State has actually performed well in terms of budgeting, in terms of its budgets. Meanwhile, there are some states that without borrowing, they cannot pay salaries. They can't pay pensions. They can't pay pensions. So that means some states are insolvent, but they have been receiving allocations. What have they been doing with the allocations? They've been borrowing. What have they been doing? Look at the 2026 budgets of some states. Huge borrowings. How are you going to sustain the borrowings? How are you going to sustain the borrowings? Like the Labour Party's presidential candidate in 2023, P2B, says, you cannot borrow or tax your way to prosperity. You have to change your habits. You have to reduce the cost of governance. You have to cut excess flesh. You have to cut excess flesh. You see a governor. I saw one governor one time. 53, we counted 53 or 54 vehicles in his convoy. SUVs. Where are you going to? Where are you going to? And each of those engines, one full tank. Each of those vehicles, one full tank is about 120 to 150,000. A full tank. Multiply that by 50 vehicles.
Wow.
And you say that you should not blame governments. What nonsense is that?
Okay, let's look at the structural economic reforms, right? So, should Nigeria rethink its fiscal federalism model to ease hardship?
My sister, we're just blowing grammar. We're just blowing big grammar. Very simple.
Okay.
Make the money you are getting work for the people. When you get home, do you tell your children we are going to embark on structural reform? What are you saying? They'll be looking at you, mommy, what are you saying? Daddy, what are you saying? They want food on the table. They want you to pay their school fees. They want you to take care of them. That is what's important. All these grammar, structural reforms and all these are just used to confuse people. Go straight to the point. Look, make agriculture viable. Let government be an off-taker. Let government be an off-taker. So that you have commodity boards, then farmers can sell their produce to the commodity boards. The commodity boards can now, engage in agro-processing so that you minimize waste. Then they can now, get other off-takers, private sector off-takers to take these things, process them, and let the farmers be paid a good, let them get some profit from what they're doing. Is it in schools? Invest in education. Invest in security. Provide jobs. Provide jobs. Provide a conducive environment for businesses to thrive. Stop this spate of demolition. Just you allow somebody to build a structure, you can't demolish it. It is a backward, wicked, and stupid mentality. You should implement your law, because when foreign investors see all these things, they see all this anyhowness, they don't want to come and invest. That's the truth. They don't want to come and invest in Nigeria. Let there be a conducive environment. It's as simple as ABC. This structure, this thing, you don't need. Look, there is no perfect system in the world. because every system will be run by human beings. But the point is this: let there be the objective that, as the Constitution says, that government shall exist for the well-being and safety of the people. Let that be your primary objective. Then, with the one you are receiving, cut down the cost of governance, reduce your aides, your special assistants and advisors and all kinds of hangers on. Stop putting money into pilgrimage. Stop putting government money into pilgrimage. Stop it. Take that money, put it into SMEs. Put it into credit. Let SMEs get credit so that they can create jobs. Let schools be properly funded. UNESCO says you should provide fund. I think UNICEF says you should provide funding for education at minimum of 26%. So, are you doing that? Let's go to the chase, not blowing grammar up and down. Mind them.
Thank you so very much, Emeka. Just like Ododo of Kogi State would say that his cabal, he said that his cabal is doing a very great job. That the former cabal he used to be with is not working, but the one that was made together or put together by Yahaya Bello, is working. And that if that cabal is working, that they should create more cabals.
Can you imagine? The thing is that even if the cabal is working, the people of Kogi State, are they seeing the hard work? Are they seeing the work?
Insecurity is all over the place in Kogi State.
Are they seeing the
people
work?
Can't even travel across Kogi State to Abuja any longer. And Ododo is there watching, talking about how that his cabal and the cabal of his Oga at the top is working. It's actually quite unfortunate. Thank you so very much, Emeka, for your time. We truly do appreciate you.
Thank you
very much.
All right, beautiful. So that's just about the time we have. We'd love to say thank you for making this a date today, the 24th day in the month of December 2025. Tomorrow would be another great day, 25th of December, the one day in the year that every Nigerian looks up to. And because it's a very wonderful one. I saw 2 turkeys in your car. I hope one is mine. Yes.
No,
the red one. You take the black one. I'll take the red one.
No, you take the red one. I'll take the black one.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, since it's still turkey.
Yeah.
We'll have to share. Remember, tomorrow is a day for sharing. So
yes.
Nothing is too small. Nothing is too big. Ensure that the people around you, your gate man, your
help in the house, your caregivers,
person that you genuinely know does not have.
Yeah.
Ensure you give a little bit to them. It's a time of sharing, and I love to believe that if we can start it as Nigerians, maybe President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will see reasons to want to share what he has. He's a multi-billionaire, for crying out loud.
If there's a word more than that.
Yes, a multi-billionaire in dollars, for crying out loud. So if we can start the sharing from ourselves, then President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will see reasons to want to equally share and not take more, like we often see.
But another thing again is Christmas is not about give. It's not just only about giving food and all of that. Even if you have like used clothes, you have like used shoes or anything material, you can just give out. It's a way of sowing seed to the person and all. So
all right, so that's our little advice. We hope that you take it and let's make the world a better place. Have yourself a wonderful day. I am Henry Igubike.
And I'm Kane the Bodin.
Please do well to check up on us. You can visit us, see us at enterprisetvnews.com. Equally download, rewatch, and send to your friends and folks to equally enjoy our show when you visit us at Enterprise TV 7. Have yourself a wonderful day. Bye bye from us.
And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.
Bye.